Hiya, and welcome back to Password. We did miss you. The game that teaches us that... I don't think there's anything left that I can say about it, really. We're almost at 50 parts. 50 parts of this game, we are almost at that point. So anyways, let's just hop right in. Good night. Okay, oh, hiya. Welcome.
So, where did you want to start?
Any suggestions?
Well, how about I talk about how I feel about things, and then if that works for you, great. If anything, might serve to guide you on where to ask questions of your own.
Sure, that could work. We took a seat down on some of the cushioned chairs about the room while Roswell gathered his thoughts, nodding slowly once he'd figured out where he wanted to start.
So, death.
That is... Hiya. That is a hell of a start.
It's not all that scary, really. It's going to happen at some day, and there's really no fighting it. Granted, some have to face it sooner rather than later, and that's probably the most unfair thing.
I whined, immediately thinking about Dad. He died too soon, sooner than what I wanted anyway. Yeah, that's a hell of a start of a conversation. I pissed off someone once. I'm not going to tell that story right now, I'm going to tell it later. I whined, immediately thinking about Dad. He died too soon, sooner than what I wanted to anyway. If you want to learn about it sooner, message Star, she knows.
You had us worried for a while. Orlando, Haas, and I mean, just noticing over time how you'd become so withdrawn, we were worried that if we left you alone, you'd... Well...
No Theta story time? Fuck it, I'll tell the story. It's super fucked up. It's super fucked up. And this is also the reason why for a period of time I was on a do not call list for scam callers. Like, I know there's a car dealership scam calls that you get. Yeah, I got a new number since then. This actually got me put on a do not call list. I would answer the phone. I would always answer the phone, and I'd immediately, like, whenever it was a number that I didn't recognize, I would answer it, and I would say something super fucked up. If you want to know what it was that I was saying, ask Star. I do not want to repeat it on stream. I might say it in the Discord server, but I don't want to repeat it on stream. It is super fucked up. Like, in the middle of class, I got a scam call. I answer the phone. I do my little bit. They hang up on me. Everyone is staring at me. Like, literally everyone in that fucking building is just staring at me, and I'm just like, yeah. Except I didn't actually do it like that. I just sat back down and went about my business. Yeah, in the middle of class. It gets even worse because the class was in the library. Yeah, it was in the middle of class, which was in a library. I did that bit. And everyone was staring at me. I just sat back down and went about my business. It was super fucked up what I said. I'm going to say it in the Discord server. I'm not going to say it on here. Just know that it's super fucked up. Yeah, in a library. I used to hang out in a library like all the time.
Well...
I'd what?
Leave us prematurely.
Oh. The two of us stayed quiet for a time as what Roswell had said sank in. I'd thought about it a couple times.
I'm certain a few of us have. I have at least. I'd hazard a guess and say that most, if not everyone's, thought about what it'd be like at least once.
I think except Dean.
But acting on it is different.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
The mind has a great deal of subconscious defenses to keep us safe, you know. You might think that you want to die, but something deep down that you can't interact with stops you from going through with it.
But it still happens, right?
Well, yes, but that's different. Those that say they want to die and those that can overpower that barrier, they're the ones that you really need to watch out for.
I whined, shifting uncomfortably on my spot on the couch. If anything, I wasn't sure how to feel, as I wasn't reassured that I couldn't go through with what I'd experienced, what I'd considered twice. That I didn't know if I could overcome that barrier he spoke of. What about you?
What?
You know, do you think you could ever,
Maybe. There's other things that guided me away from really thinking about it. At this point, I've mostly just accepted that when my time comes, that's going to be it.
Just like that.
Just like that. Maybe it's because I've been so interested in the occult that I've become a bit strange like that, Ouija boards and alike. You know how it is.
Has any of that ever, worked?
I wish I could tell you that I've been able to talk to the ghosts of those already gone, Dave. Not only because I know who you'd want to talk to, believe me, if I could, I would.
I nodded slowly, a dull throb lingering in my chest as what fleeting hope I'd built for hearing from Dad again shattered. It's okay. I was just curious.
To be honest, there's a bunch of different things that helped me along, too. Researching what my expected lifespan would be, different accounts of what death might be like.
I'm sorry, I would have assumed that you would have had, more like, an existential crisis or something about how much time you have left?
What? You thought that I'd decide to eat healthier and exercise just to live longer?
That's what I assumed you were getting at.
For me, I'd much rather enjoy what time I have left. Having more time doesn't really mean much unless you do something with it, right?
So, what sort of thing have you got in mind?
Something I'll probably run out of time to do, but it's special to me anyway.
Okay, but what is it exactly?
It's special to me, Dave.
Yeah, and you're special to me. Roswell seemed taken aback by that comment, but giggled all the same.
That's nice of you to say, Dave.
I had a dream about you last night. Nothing overly major, but you were there when we got home. Ah, shit. Did we say something? Yeah, we did. His smile faded quickly upon me saying that, and I frowned. What's wrong?
Nothing, just thinking about something.
Okay, but what, the thought of going home? I didn't think it'd cause that sort of reaction, given what's been going on around here.
Consider it more thinking ahead to where everyone else will be, or who will still be around and who won't be.
As in, travel plans?
As in, who will be left alive. Not that I'm being pessimistic about someone dying, quite the opposite. I guess just more worried about the danger we find ourselves in.
We're all going to get out, right? Roswell didn't seem convinced, not giving me an indication one way or another. As far as what I knew, getting through to the end of the month was meant to be the key to avoiding this marked for death thing Oswin had mentioned.
Of course we are.
I hope so, Roswell. I don't think I could deal with, this vacation getting worse.
I'm sure things will work out just fine, Dave. So long as we don't go looking for danger, we should be okay. So no more running off into the forest alone, alright?
I smirked, resting back on the chair I was sitting in, and sized him up. Says the one that went into the forest by himself looking for mushrooms.
Hey, that was before anything bad happened.
Tell me, though, did you see anything out there? Anything at all?
Nothing that I haven't already told you, I think.
Not even that rabbit?
No rabbit or much else, really. Just forest.
You didn't follow the river at all, or...?
Nope, I just...
He scratched his chin, sighing out.
Well, that's all. I went downstream a little and ran into a cliff where the river just flowed over the edge so far down that it seemed like you'd fall off the world itself.
And then you went upstream?
Pretty much. Settled in by a little campsite and just spent the night there. Walked back when things were light out again.
So those, syringe in the little bottle?
What about them?
Nothing, I guess. I sighed out, shaking my head. It was probably for the best that Roswell didn't seem to know what I was getting at. Even if he was lying, I had no way of knowing, but until I could figure out why they were there in the first place, I was stuck. There was something else I wanted to know, too.
What?
Have you, figured out what kind of love you have for me yet?
Oh, that.
He smiled and looked away, almost daydreaming about something.
I think so, yeah. Or at the very least, I'm pretty close to being certain.
That sounds like a good thing, right?
It probably is, but I'm not going to let it get in the way of you recovering.
What if it's helping me recover?
I don't think this thing will help you recover, Dave. One thing at a time. Besides, what about you liking Dean? Don't tell me you've gotten bored of him already.
Ugh, not you too, Roswell.
I'm guessing Orlando's been overly eager still.
You have as well, and it's, kinda annoying.
Sorry.
Is it just because I was sad that you kept pushing us closer together? Because that seems more of an Orlando thing than something you'd do.
No, it wasn't that.
Was it some, a self-esteem thing?
No, not that either.
Then what? We've been friends long enough that we shouldn't need to hide the important stuff if it's bothering us, right?
It's just not that simple, Dave. It's not even a problem of you not understanding either.
Then tell me. He sighed out, slumping in his chair and keeping his gaze averted.
I can't. Not yet. But I promise that someday soon I'll tell you.
You better keep that promise, Roswell. The moment you can, I want to know.
Alright, I promise. Consider it closer to, like, spoiling a birthday surprise. I want to tell you, but I can't just yet.
Satisfied for now that at least he had something not immediately bad, I sighed out, scratching my head.
What's the matter?
I just don't know what's going to happen next. It's worrying me to no end on top of everything else.
Relax, Dave. Give yourself a chance to breathe and things will turn out okay.
Coming from the one who decided to live his life hard and fast.
Would it help if we went and did something productive then?
Like what? I don't really feel like studying again.
No, not studying. That's for later, and more than likely without you, given you made your stance on it perfectly clear.
Hiya. Then what?
Well, what we could do is rest. Maybe join the others for the movie.
You said something productive.
Rest is productive.
Next, you'll be suggesting we grab a snack and claim that that's also productive.
I'm sure I could find a way to make that work, sure.
As long as we don't hang out with the others, that's fine.
You don't want to hang out with the others because...
I just don't think I'm ready just yet.
Fair enough, that works for me anyway. So with that in mind, how about you take a nap and we can do something after you've had some rest?
But I'm not tired! As if on cue, I yawned, covering my mouth with my hand and rubbing my eyes. Oh, it went well. Yeah, it went well, my guy. Axel, it went well. And then I'm gonna fix my hair real quick. Because, like, I tied this bun, like... God damn, like 5 hours ago. I tied it like 5 hours ago. And it's, like, pulling my hair. It's a nice bun, but, like... It's like... Fucking... Ah! Get out of the... There we go. No. Tangle a bit, and there we go. No survival for the dragon bitch. Which dragon bitch, you may be asking? The gay one. Which gay one, not his son? It's the gay bitch that's on the mountain. The gay bitch, the red one. The gay bitch, he is dead now. Which dead one, we will never know. The gay bitch, he's a fucking bottom. The gay bitch, he apparently works at Denny's. The gay bitch, he is a mob boss and he's going to die. He's gonna die, but not tonight. There we go. There's a little song for you. Congrats. As if on cue, I yawned, covering my mouth with my hand and rubbing my eyes. I'm just still waking up, I guess, or need more coffee.
Suit yourself. But I figure you're going to pass out sometime after lunch.
I'm gonna need to highlight that entire fucking song. Leaving the sitting room, we headed upstairs and we just hung out in his room for a bit. Sure enough, found Roswell's bed too comfortable and passed out shortly after he'd brought us some sandwiches for lunch. It was strange, though. While not as vivid as the other dreams I've had thus far, I still had flashes of things back home. Not good, not bad, just a reminder of sorts. When I woke up, I sat up and rubbed my eyes, looking around the room for Roswell. He was sitting on the floor, reading a book. Gay bitches, why not gay thoughts?
Gay bitches, why not gay thoughts?
He was sitting on the floor, reading a book and resting against the mattress to face away from me.
Good morning. Or should I say good afternoon?
How long was I out for?
For someone that wasn't tired, you sure did sleep for a bit. A couple hours, I'd say.
He shut his book with a snap and stretched, picking himself up off the floor to look at me.
I was thinking about checking out the gym downstairs. Did you want to come?
Since when did you exercise? He huffed, his nostrils flaring.
I'm allowed to do something if I want to.
But the gym?
I'm mostly just curious if I'm the weakest of our group. I'm pretty certain I am, but there's nothing that says it needs to stay that way.
My hero.
You're lucky I'm feeling generous and not forcing you to work out with me.
Well, I'm going to go with you just in case you hurt yourself trying to do something. I led the way down to the gym, and it was quiet the whole way down, shy of one outburst from the rec room. Sounded like Haas and Tyson cheering about something.
Alright, time to prove that I'm not some weak little bore.
And how are you going to do that?
I read about exercise once.
What do you mean, once? He pointed to a weight sitting off to the side before rubbing his hands together and struggling to undo his bandana.
I'm gonna lift that.
Okay, well, I'll try and find a first aid kit.
I'll be fine.
Maybe try some little ladder first? I looked behind me to see Dean and Orlando standing there, although Dean went right on over to Roswell to act as a physical barrier between him and the weights. Status. Still a weak bore. 'Cause he's a bitch. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, he's a bitch. He's a bitchy bitch and his... I'm not gonna go there. I can't think of anything in the weights. What are you two doing down here?
What, we're not allowed to work out?
Was that was the book you were reading when I came in? Oh shit, that was the book. Of everyone currently in this room, the only one I assume that would ever come down here is Dean.
Okay, that's fair. Why are you two down here, though?
Can't really go outside, so I figured I'd just do a little exercise.
Same here. Except it's more, I figure it wouldn't hurt, right? Maybe go for a run.
I think I'll believe you running when I see it for myself. Careful, Dave. Might get roped into going for a run yourself if you're not careful. Oh no, I'm only supervising.
Well, make sure you supervise me totally lifting this thing.
Roswell, dead in the museum. Discovery. Do a little dance. Why would a banker want the vault? There were a few confused glances around the room as I finished my question. With no answer, I looked to Orlando, then to Oswin. I'll be running to get some fucking right. Oh god, I just remembered something. Theta story time, another Theta story time. This was years ago. It was at a church camp. I know, church camp. We had just finished the nightly service, and I wanted mozzarella sticks. Like, I would have killed someone for some mozzarella sticks. So naturally, I wasn't wearing shoes because I said fuck you to shoes. You're supposed to wear shoes, but they didn't stop me. They didn't fucking stop me. Hey, I'm also a fat bitch. So, we get out, and I immediately book it. Like, I'm running in the grass. I said fuck you to the path. I'm running through the grass. I make it. I am first in line for those mozzarella sticks, and they tasted amazing. Not because they were good, but because I was first in line. Granted, they were good. They tasted amazing. Oswin sighed, scratching his chin. That rat is fickle on best of days. It'd be something to consider, but I don't think it'd be best to bring him out of the lab just yet. Why not? He's just a rat. That's only half true. For the time being, I feel that it's best that he's kept in the dark from your friends, lest he incites panic by spilling more information than what we're ready for. Like how the vault works on DNA? Among other things. What other things? I'm allowed to have my secrets. Besides, one thing at a time, Dave. Trust that if anything were to be immediately relevant to keeping us alive, I'll let you know. Bitch. No shoes and running on grass, truly ungovernable. Oh no, the grass was also wet and freshly cut. So it was like sticking to me. Like, I can only imagine what was going through everyone else's head. Like, they look over and they see a fat kid with no shoes wearing a t-shirt and basketball shorts, which is exactly what I'm wearing now, running through the grass, holding a notebook and pencil full of drawings from the Legend of Korra or some shit. I don't fucking know what I was drawing. But I was drawing, it was Steven Universe. I was drawing Steven Universe. I can only imagine what was going on through their head. Just like, what the fuck is wrong with him? I threw the door open, scanning the room for Roswell.
Dave?
Slamming the door closed behind me, I wandered over to the bed and fell onto it, groaning.
What's wrong? I mean, I know it's wrong. I was downstairs, but...
We're in danger now, so I rolled over, looking at him carefully. Even after what we spoke about today, I'm scared about dying now more than ever.
It's not a great spot we find ourselves in, that's for sure. You're welcome to spend the night if that'd make you feel better.
You sure that's okay?
Of course I'm sure. After all, well, I'm also wanting to survive, I'm a lot less scared of death.
How less scared are you? You're so put together that it's almost like this whole thing didn't affect you at all.
I think I'm just honestly more ready in case the worst happens.
I wish that sometimes I was as fearless as you, or that this sort of stuff doesn't get to me the way it does. Roswell wandered over and turned off the light before returning to the bed.
I've just had a lot more time to come to terms with my own death, that's all.
How long exactly?
Maybe around the time I was 5 or 6 years old.
Hey, yo! No, because that would have gotten me yelled at. Because one of the directors of the camp was already sitting at a table. Fucker had a go-kart. Fucker had a golf cart. He was sitting at a table. I would have gotten yelled at. I sat up suddenly with a frown. You're lying. No way you were thinking about your own death when you were that young. That's not what kids are meant to think about. Or even understand. Well, Roswell, I'm pretty sure, is a weird little kid.
Well, you try almost dying as a kid and see what that does for you, Dave. Maybe that's why I'm into all the occult stuff. I'm basically a zombie, kinda.
He held his phone up to his chin to light up his face from below, pulling a face. As much as it didn't sit right with me, it was enough of a distraction of everything that happened downstairs that I was able to start to calm down. You're a jerk sometimes, you know that?
So long as it's helping.
Roswell stripped down and got into bed, and I followed suit.
Just you watch, Dave. Come morning, we'll be able to think about this clear and gonna handle it together as a group.
You think so?
I know so. Sleep well, Dave.
I nodded slowly, and Roswell rolled over to cuddle his pillow. No sooner than had he done so, I rolled onto my side and cuddled into him from behind as well. The contented sigh he gave me in return signaled that he was comfortable, and it wasn't long after that I could hear him quietly snoring against his pillow. It wasn't long until I was right along with him. So cute. Roswell was still asleep, cuddling his pillow. I half expected him to be sprawled out happily, but he seemed to be trembling in his sleep. I must have shifted away from him during my time asleep, and I reached over to place a hand gently between his ears. The moment I did, he sighed out and stopped trembling. Brought a smile to my face, and I wondered if what I was feeling was love or still just a deep friendship. From how I was reeling from how open Roswell was about his feelings made me wish I just knew what my feelings were. Dave is... Everyone wants Dave. Everyone wants Dave. It's like a fucking Wattpad story where everyone's in love with the main character. But I'm here for it. I love this writing. But the smile that it had all brought to my face faded when I realized just how poor the timing was. I rolled out of bed and put some clothes on. My mind wasn't going to let me get any more sleep right now, so I figured maybe going for a walk could help. Yeah, I feel like from here on out there's going to be a lot of skipping. Oswald's eyes flicked to the table and he picked up a different metal. His grip tightened on it as he continued to stare before setting it down suddenly on the table. Where did this one get found?
In the museum, tucked behind a book.
Yeah, we kind of just found it by chance, not that I'm complaining. I noticed while I was talking, Oswald was staring at Roswell, and in turn, Roswell kept his eyes anywhere but. By chance, you say? Well, I suppose it doesn't matter, it's found. Do we do good? Oh, whoa. I wandered out of the dining room behind a couple of the others before realizing that Roswell wasn't with us. As the others continued on, I looked around, peering into the dining room to see if he was still there. Sure enough, Sure enough, he was standing near Oswin having a hushed conversation about something. I could see it in his shoulders and how tense he was. Did you forget something, Dave?
Oh, it's Dave. Good.
Good? Good why? No real reason, really. Well, Roswell was just talking about you. Good things, bad things. Perhaps it'd be best if you two talked about it without me eavesdropping. Have fun, you two. Roswell will talk more later. On his way past, Oswin tussled Roswell's fur and strode out without a care in the world. I tilted my head confused before Roswell's grumbling drew my attention. What was that about?
Nothing, just... That was a fairly bold move on his part with the money. He's right, and it's his money to give away, but...
He kicked to the ground, frustrated before sighing out.
You came up too. Mostly, I'm just worried for you is all.
You just don't want to sit down and talk about it? We don't have to go hunt for metals right now if you don't want to. He sat down slowly and cradled his chin in his hands, looking across the table at the opposite wall. I sat down slowly next to him, letting him speak, mostly because I didn't know what I could even say to his immediate troubles.
When we got here, I thought that this vacation would be great, or at the very least something to look back on fondly.
He shook his head slightly, quickly correcting himself.
No, I suppose even if it was a terrible vacation, I just wanted something memorable for us. That's what you wanted, right? One last big thing before the rest of our lives?
Right, but... Roswell sighed out, scratching his head.
I didn't think it'd turn out like this. I'm responsible for putting you all in danger, or at least it feels that way.
You're responsible for bringing us here, sure, but I don't think you can wear the blame for danger. That'd be more, well, there's a lot going on.
There's more? Like what?
Well, I don't think you could be blamed for the rabbit in the woods or the vault or, well...
Okay, but if we didn't come here, then would you be in danger? I would like to think not.
But if we didn't come here, I wouldn't have gotten to spend time with you like we have. I wouldn't have had that chat with you yesterday about being worried about death. We probably wouldn't have done a lot of things. He sighed out, shaking his head but saying nothing. What I mean to say, Roswell, is who knows what could have happened? He looked at me carefully, turning suddenly and holding my gaze. He stayed quiet for a few moments before a slight frown formed in his tone when serious.
What would the alternative would have been?
Fuck. I frowned back, sitting in my chair, and I wasn't sure how to answer.
Dave, before this vacation, you were a mess and kinda still are.
Hey, I'm getting better, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to catch that. Doesn't look like they're going to catch them, Amethyst. Doesn't look like they are. We're getting better, right?
That's exactly my point. All the stress of what's going on, you broke. We were here to catch you, and together we're piecing you back together, sorta.
Right. That seems like a good thing.
But that happened while you were here.
He looked uncomfortable in his chair, moving around and trying to avoid saying whatever it was he was thinking. And?
Dave, what was going to happen when we all left?
I don't know.
Your only option for what I could tell is to hang around with Dean. But even then...
What's wrong with that? Dean's a good guy.
He is, but is that enough?
Enough for what, Roswell? Can't you just say what's on your mind? Just whatever it is. It'll be fine. I promise. His smile faded quickly and he looked away to steer himself.
When your dad died, we watched you break into this husk of who we used to know. You stopped having that spark in your eyes, that coy smile you used to wear, and all around just became more passive, like you were just a lost puppy.
I clenched my jaw at the comparison but kept quiet so we could continue.
Even with Dean around, we'd get small glances at the person you used to be, but it was all just muted. Every day you seemed to grow more withdrawn, and it was honestly pretty worrying.
You guys never said anything, so I don't know. I assume things were okay.
Things were far from okay, Dave. We were losing our friend, and we didn't know what to do to stop it. We tried to bring you back a couple times, maybe not as hard as we should have, but none of us knew what it was like to just be in your shoes.
He tugged at the fur on his cheeks, briefly sighing out.
Not to that extent, anyway.
I sighed, slumping forward onto the table and resting my chin on my folded arms like a cushion. I would have worked through it eventually. Maybe. Would have caught up to me.
Dave,
He placed a hand on my arm and shook his head.
Are you so sure about that? I've been so scared for you that one day you'll just not show up for school or for a group meet, and the next thing we hear is that
He trailed off, and when I looked to him, he was finishing up rubbing his eyes. You don't think I'd actually...
You confirmed it yesterday! That at least had been on your mind. Dave, I said yesterday that I was fine with dying and death because I had time to process my own, but yours?
I could see him tremble all while being stiff in the shoulders.
I'm scared, Dave. maybe of what could have happened, maybe of what could still happen, but all because I feel like I'm the one that's put you in this position.
I said before that you had no way of knowing about the other stuff going on, so...
I'm just saying how it makes me feel. On one hand, I'm looking at this knowing how things went now and feeling like I made the right call in arranging it. For sure, don't have to worry about the what-if scenario where we didn't have it get together. But on the other hand, was the alternative even better? Hearing about my best friend taking his own life versus that very same person in a position where he could have been murdered by a psycho in the woods.
He shuddered again, sobbing and desperately trying to wipe what tears were starting to form in his eyes to little effect.
I know it's selfish to be thinking this way too. Even bad of me to assume that the worst could happen rather than staying positive. I can't help it.
I reached out and touched his arm, unsure of what to say. I assumed Roswell had been one of the more dependable ones in terms of keeping it together, but maybe it had only been about his own fate. Is there anything I can say or do to help?
I don't know. If it was me in danger, I don't think I'd nearly be worried.
Why's that? He wiped his face and breathed in deep. Took him a few moments before saying anything, but when he did, I couldn't place the expression when he met my gaze.
The truth is, I had another reason to want to do a vacation like this. Something that, I don't know, hasn't seemed all that important to bring up. Something that still doesn't, but maybe might help.
What is it?
Do you remember that one winter ages ago where I got sick?
Yeah, it was really cold, and we spent way more time outside than we should have. I remember getting in trouble a couple of times, but it didn't seem nearly as bad when we got to have hot chocolate after.
Right? It's not abnormal for people to just get sick during the winter times either. It's normal.
Roswell, what happened when you got sick? Was it that bad?
Remember how I had to move away for a long time after? It was because of that illness, trying to get treatment. At the time, I didn't really understand how bad it was. Just that if it wasn't treated, I'd die.
But we were kids, barely in school.
Blame my mother for that, I suppose. Figure that lying to a child meant they didn't have your full respect. I get the sentiment, but I'm lucky I didn't develop some kind of complex because of it.
That's all well and good anyway, right? You're alive now, you got treated, so it mustn't have been so bad.
Oh, Dave. I suppose that's one way to look at it.
Oh, fuck. I scratched my head looking at him. How was that meant to help?
I'm alive now, making the most of it. There's more to the story, but I'll let you figure it out on your own.
You can't just tell me now, you got me curious what I've missed. He snickered, playing with his fingers.
No, I can't tell you just yet. But one day I promise to fill in the gaps if you haven't already.
I watched him carefully, pulling a face. God, you're weird.
I thought you liked weird.
I know. Fuck. Sure, let's go with that. What I had said must have caught him off guard. The next moment, he was giggling to himself in his chair, his mood clearly improved.
Thanks, Dave. I like you too.
Faults and all, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Wait, faults? Which faults in particular?
Well, you rile up others a bit too much sometimes. You're smart, but can occasionally be the dumbest person I know. And you confuse me so often, I start to think you're making fun of me.
Oh, well,
But in that are good things too. Sure, you rile people up, but you let people poke you back. Well, except Tyson. With you being so smart, you're ready to help where you can. I don't think I would have passed some of the harder classes in school without your help. Plus, it's the little things that make me feel smarter than you sometimes, which helps.
like what?
I still can't believe you had to ask Sal how to do the dishes.
I just wanted to be sure. People have different methods. Which reminds me, I should ask Spencer about his method of doing the dishes.
Why?
If there were two identical sponges, I doubt he'd dual-wield them while doing the dishes, so why two?
Maybe sponges break?
Sponges don't break, Dave. Except maybe if you tore them, but I feel like that's not really a good reason to have two out at the same time.
Maybe wait until everything's blown over before bothering him about sponges, Roswell.
Okay, fine.
I looked around the room, drumming my fingers on the table. Got any plans for the rest of the day?
Only that chat with Oswin at some point later. But who knows when that'd happen?
Dual-wield sponge art. Oh no.
Aside from that, I'm totally...
Oh fuck. God damn it. Okay. SpongeBob, dual-wielding sponges. to clean dishes. That is where my mind went. The Way of the... Does it help that I've been watching The Way of the House Husband? The Way of the Butler. The Way of the Assassin Butler. The Way of Alfred from Batman.
Then I'm totally free.
Want to go find some medals?
The lore of the ward is too much for you.
It's something to do, unless you got something else on your mind that isn't studying. Don't even know what you'd be studying for at this point.
Okay, we'll go find some medals. Doesn't bother me either way.
So if we didn't, what were you planning on doing? Let's need to stick together and whatnot.
I hadn't really thought that far ahead. I got so lost in my thoughts I didn't realize that everyone else had already left.
There are options if you didn't want to go looking. We could head upstairs and play a game. You could read while I attempt to read.
Not convinced it'd be something you'd enjoy.
I'm sure there might be. You've seen how many books there are already.
How about we start with the museum and see if there isn't another medal hidden away somewhere. Then we can decide from there what we want to do.
What? I know, a book date with the bacon, but I'm trying to figure out what the fuck Amethyst just said. I cannot be mad at you because of that. I honestly couldn't be mad. I could not be mad. I can't be mad. Because at this point, I can't be mad at what you come up with. I'm more impressed than anything else. I am genuinely impressed. But yeah, moving past that, sorry for bringing it up. Now moving past that, we headed upstairs in search of more medals, but it became clear quickly that the one we'd found there already would have had to be the only one. Or at least that's what Roswell assumed when neither his luck or me borrowing it turned up anything new. We wandered around for a bit, breaking for lunch, passing Orlando on the way. Turns out the others hadn't found anything new based on those he'd run into, but it seemed we were all busy doing our own thing rather than continuing the scavenger hunt. It remained that way for the rest of the afternoon too, with our search turning up nothing new. By the way, Oswin, we love your son. What? As I turned to leave, I stopped, looking back to Oswin. What is it? You're going to talk to Roswell again, right? Oh. Just some advice. One bore to another is all. Deciding to be the bigger man for a change? Granted, Roswell should know better, so hopefully this will rub off on him somewhat. I doubt it, but... Yes, thank you for reminding me, Dave. I'll head inside shortly and seek him out. Good to know, Dave. Nodding slowly, I waved to them both and headed inside. And even with the routine, I was distracted. Collapsing on my bed after switching off the light, I thought about Roswell. For the most part of the day, we'd been searching, playing the game he'd set up, but I kept coming back to the story he told me. I wondered what I'd missed, what hidden thing there that I wasn't getting. Maybe that was the point. Just another thing to distract me from what was going on, but I didn't like the feeling it was giving me. Maybe it was a case of me already knowing what I'd missed, but not wanting to admit it. Hang on. I'm gonna check something. What the fuck is data? Oh, that's a save. Okay. Maybe that was the point. Just another thing to distract me from what was going on, but I didn't like the feeling. Oh my god, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you for the follow. From what was going on, but I didn't like the feeling it was giving me. Maybe it was a case of me already knowing what I'd missed, but not wanting to admit it. No, I just saw that. Rolling onto my back and staring at the ceiling, it was much the same. Wondering what secret Roswell had hidden in that story, or why he couldn't just tell me. As I closed my eyes, I wondered. Everything we'd been talking about lately was death. Everything that seemed to taint conversations between us relating to someone dying. I don't know what I disliked more, the way Roswell seemed just fine with that, or that it was just happening. Maybe that was my clue after all, but the conclusion I was drawing didn't sit right with me. Pushing it down, I tried to get some more sleep. But I knew that at some point tomorrow, I wanted to go to the vault. If only to just put my mind at ease that I wasn't going to see Roswell in there. And I just gotta follow her on X, or Twitter. I don't fucking know anymore. I don't know anymore what it is. Rest in peace. Oh, hi, bitch. Hi, tiny bitch. Will that come in handy? Who knows? Maybe. If you ever need to come back here, potentially. Okay, bitch. Guess you're having trouble sleeping too? Oh, not really. I mean, yeah, but not for any good reason. Just had stuff on my mind.
How bad?
Nothing too bad, I promise. Just, I don't know, different stuff.
Well, I guess that's fine, but geez, well, I guess it's an improvement.
Improvement how?
Think about how he was a couple days ago. Maybe yesterday did him some good, or maybe it was something else. Either way, I'm counting this as a win.
I shared a confused look with Dean as we heard the others wander down the stairs to join us. Okay. Oh, this bitch. Thanatos. Like, Thana... too gay to do shit. You're not Thanatos, you're Thana... too gay to do your own thing. So you piggyback on other people. To get places. Yeah. You fucking Nintendo 64 Link in Ocarina of Time Hyrule. It's Tyson. Wait, no. Orlando. I'll come back to too many passwords and questionable shit by Amethyst. So what if I do? What are you going to do? I'm gonna kick you. Gonna give you a little... I'm gonna punt you. I don't know. Maybe I wanted to figure out who tried to kill you so I could stop that from happening again.
What I mean to say is...
He chuckled, shifting on the spot uncomfortably. Anything to keep everyone alive, Roswell, including you.
Then, alright, so long as you have a plan, then that sounds good to me. Just don't waste away in front of the machine, alright?
I promise. Oh, I love the bacon. Tyson. No. The Derg said it. It's... No more Tyson. Or wait. No more bacon. Then it's a good thing I'm not real, then is it, huh? Well, I'm going to eat you. Just gonna give you a little chomp, turn into a protogen, and just chomp. Now you're dead. And digested, so there's no bringing you back. Haha. Get riggedy wrecked. Roswell was smiling up until food was set down in front of him, but after that first bite, his enthusiasm started to fade. It tasted fine to me, but he looked worried about something, occasionally looking out the window. Are you really willing to do that to your body? Bitch, I've probably eaten worse. I ate dirt. I ate a fucking leaf. I ate dirt. I ate fucking pocket change. I've eaten worse, Thanatos. I looked out into the foyer. Then it surprises me on how you were alive then. Barely. I looked out into the foyer, wondering where he might be. My heart sank when I saw him sitting outside on the steps of the back door. All the same, I made my way over to the back door. You ate crayons when you were a kid? Honestly, I can't blame you. Taking a deep breath, I braced myself on the door handle and opened it to step out into the open. Roswell? He didn't look over at me, instead just sitting there facing the woods with his back to the house. Carefully I approached, sitting down beside him, and only then did he glance my way.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, are you doing okay? You seemed off at breakfast, and well, you're out here alone, and... I trailed off when he turned back to look at the forest, waiting for him to say something. Minutes passed before eventually he shook his head.
I just don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if you had Roswell's sickness. I don't think I do.
Just don't know.
But almost immediately he turned back to me with a small smile, looking me over.
What about you?
Huh, okay, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay, just stuff on my mind.
Such as?
Just a little bit of everything, really.
Then start the first thing that comes to mind and we can talk about that.
I think that'll be if we're getting home. How we're getting home, or even when. Just not being here would be nice, I think.
It's not much of a vacation, is it?
It's not just that, it's just, I don't know. Everything else going on, too. Just being here seems to force everything else to be a problem, and it's not like we can leave.
Right, well, the best we can hope for is that we can leave soon. And the only other thing I can offer is that I'm sorry that I invited you all out here.
You didn't know that all this was going to happen, did you?
Would be pretty bad of me if I did, huh? Still. Truth is, there were a couple of very selfish reasons that this whole thing came about, but I didn't expect anything like this.
I can't hold it against you, or at least not based on what I know. What were the other selfish reasons? Roswell seemed to think about it for a few moments before looking down at the ground between his feet.
How bad would a reason need to be for you to hate me for it?
Huh?
Tell me, Dave, just reassure me that...
He trailed off with a sigh, falling quiet for nearly a minute before I asked further. Reassure you of what? Oh, God. You were playing with Barbie dolls? I was playing with My Little Pony dolls. I watched him breathe in deeply and hold in his chest, eyes still locked on the forest.
Dave?
Yeah?
I need to ask you something selfish. I need to ask you something so incredibly selfish, but I don't want your answer to it just yet, okay?
Sure, but to be honest, you're kind of scaring me a little, Roswell.
Sorry, I just imagined this being easier somehow.
What did you want to ask me? Is it bad?
Dave, would you be my boyfriend?
Wow! Wow? Wait, what? Where's this coming from? I mean, I'm flattered, but I guess I'm just mostly shocked that Roswell shook his head, although continued to sit perfectly still otherwise.
I feel bad asking this, and the reason why it's incredibly selfish is, well...
The slight stutter in his breath clued me into something being wrong. Even if Roswell wasn't crying, he may as well have been from how he looked at me. My ears went back, and I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach.
There's no easier way to say it, so I just will. I'm dying.
I must have looked at him funny or misheard because he took my silence for confusion.
I'm dying, Dave. Not to say we aren't all dying, but I'm on borrowed time, or I guess more accurately, this vacation is probably the last vacation I'll have.
What? I was struggling to process this information to the point that I'd instinctively repeated it again softer, as if this was some dark secret that shouldn't be spoken at all.
This vacation was just meant to be one final celebration, right? I just didn't tell you how literal it was probably going to be.
But why? How? I caught the faint hint of a smirk on his face, as fleeting as it was. Made me feel all the worse that he was still able to manage that with how much I was struggling to process what I'd been told.
Cancer, or it may as well be. It's in my brain, or it started there anyway. As far as why, I guess my genes, I don't know. Whatever it is I have is untreatable. So what time I have left is just what I have left.
But Roswell, you're going to die!
I know. There's nothing that can be done about it either. Just, that's the hand I've been dealt.
And you're sure? What about getting a second opinion, or a third? Someone's got to know on how to save you!
Even if they did, we're stuck on this mountain. Any chance of me surviving died when the road blew up. Maybe even sooner than that. It's hard to say.
But, Roswell...
I've known for a long time, longer than anyone really should. It was just about waiting down the clock and wondering if there was a way out, but there wasn't, and I came to terms with it a long time ago. So what little time I have left now I'm spending how I want, or as close to as I can, given the circumstances.
How long exactly do we have?
Until the end of the month. It could be sooner, could be a couple days later. Really, any day now it could happen, and I'll just be gone.
And just like that, you'll be...
Dead. Yes.
Wait.
Dead. Just like that?
These fucking scenes always get to me. They always do. Fuck. That's all I have to say, just fuck. Damn it. Before I knew what I was doing, I'd thrown my arms around him. He didn't react beyond letting me move him, and I could feel my cheeks wet with tears.
It's alright, Dave. Everyone dies eventually.
But you've been keeping this a secret from everyone, or just me? Why wouldn't you tell the others?
When's a good time to tell anyone this? As far as everyone assumed, we'd all be going our separate ways after. So whatever fate awaited me could be just an unfortunate event.
He shook his head, flexing his hands and darting his gaze away briefly.
I don't want to be remembered as some sad, weak bore who died having never made an impression. Magic, getting back at Tyson, organizing this vacation. I just want to be remembered. Remembered in my last moments as the friend people remembered, even with what drama exists.
I squeezed him tightly, the tears falling more freely from my face. I'm so sorry, Roswell.
It's okay, Dave.
No! About everything, not knowing, not being there for you, for inviting Tyson for the argument, just... He pulled away and dusted off my shoulders before letting his hands rest in his lap.
You know, some things you had no way of knowing, so I don't hold them against you, but the argument? That really hurt, Dave.
I'm sorry.
I need you to know that while whatever happened between you and Tyson might have been great, he still hurt me in the past.
I could feel my ears drooping further and remained quiet so he could continue.
And to ultimately jump to his defense without considering how I felt hurt. It didn't feel as though the pain that I went through didn't matter, that my feelings didn't matter.
But...
No but, Dave! Not that I was doing much better in that argument. But I thought you'd at least not brush me off like you did.
I thought back to the argument we had and winced. It didn't physically hurt, but the feeling in my gut was one of guilt.
At the time, I was scared, very scared that you'd be left with someone who'd just be bad for you. I didn't want to leave worried that the person you're closest to is physically abusive.
He sighed, gesturing with his hands.
I want to die peacefully knowing that you're going to be safe. I haven't seen Tyson be anything but a bad influence, and that's terrifying.
Nodding slowly, I kept quiet. I felt bad, but didn't know how else to phrase it. Then Tyson just wasn't the same person anymore.
But while I don't trust Tyson, I do trust Haas. To his credit, he hasn't been all that bad. The argument yesterday and at breakfast today aside, he's shown that he cares for you a lot. Maybe that's enough. The past few days or so have been better, and he was the first one to your side when you started crying the other day, so there's something I missed after all. Maybe there's something I missed after all.
So you and Tyson...
I won't make any more attempts to irk him, but he still rubs me the wrong way being here. Maybe it's just the trauma talking. Still, I'm sorry I haven't been as open-minded as an adult should.
Right.
I might be 18, but that still counts, right?
Yeah, it counts.
Good. Now, how about we focus on something else? Maybe something troubling you for a change.
Well, on the back of the bombshell Roswell dropped, I wasn't sure what to even think, but the pressing part was Tyson's fate, and I knew I needed to help. There's two things, but I guess the more important of the two was that I got the vault to work.
You did? What? When? How?
Would you believe yesterday?
And you didn't tell anyone?
I don't want anyone to panic, and I'm telling you now because I don't know how to stop it.
Okay, well, let's start with what you saw and go from there.
Well, it looked like Tyson was going to kill Orlando.
No wonder you didn't want to tell anyone.
Sorry, but I just don't know who else to really ask.
We can't just let Orlando die, and of course I'm willing to help. It's just really unfortunate timing.
He rubbed his head, brow furrowed.
I meant what I said, and that I'm willing to see the good in Tyson, but I'm not going to get the chance if he kills Orlando. What do we know?
I breathed out in relief, knowing I had Roswell on board to help. The only problem was with how little we had to work with. Well, the only part I know is it happens during the full moon.
Oh, Dave, he's not a...
When Roswell trailed off, his smile faded quickly into a frown. What once was an attempt to lighten the mood quickly shifted into a serious tone.
This is as bad as when we found the cancer medal, isn't it?
I didn't know how you and your, back then...
Well, full moon, huh? Anything else to go off? Otherwise, we have until tomorrow.
Wait, you know when the full moon is?
Well, it's not that hard to track. But the best dark magics are always done on the full moon.
That's one less thing to worry about then. Just have to keep Tyson from killing Orlando when the rest comes easy, right?
Depends on what the rest is. Which includes this other thing you were troubled by.
Nodding slowly as I tried to figure out how best to ask, I assumed taking a leaf from Roswell's book was the way to go. I think I'd feel better if I could make sense of how you died, like who tried to kill you and stuff.
Oh, is that all?
What do you mean?
On one hand, that was 2 weeks ago by this point, wasn't it? Or close enough anyway.
Sure, but between you, Benson, what almost happened with Sal, I just don't know why any of this is happening. Or who would even want you dead.
Well, that's just what happens. You don't need to worry about it. You're not the only one that has been thinking about it. Parts of it has been bothering me since we last looked into it.
Wait, really? It almost sounds like you figured it out.
Well, nothing's proven yet, but consider it a very high probability that I have it solved.
With so little to go off of?
I suppose the only way to properly see how close I am is to go confront the culprit, right?
I suddenly felt uneasy about wanting to figure this out. Almost ready to just let it be done with Roswell. Sure he'd figured it out.
Come on, let's go find our murderer.
He quickly got up, and before I knew it, he'd taken my hand and led me back inside. Well, damn. Then down to the basement.
Right through here, we'll take a shortcut.
A shortcut? Oh, we're going to stop for the ad, even though we're not going to be here much longer. My eyes went over to the wall where the secret passage was, and then to Roswell, who without breaking stride went over to it and opened it up.
Don't worry, this should take us to the deeper parts of the house, and it'll be faster than going through the library.
Well, yeah, but how did you know about this passage?
What do you mean?
I hadn't shown anyone else this passage, at least I didn't think so.
How
did you know about this? Roswell scratched his chin, frowning before looking back to me.
I'm fairly certain I've seen Benson come out of it before, plus all things considered, there had to be more than just the one passage after we saw the one leading to the library.
I wasn't convinced, but Roswell kept talking all the same, sneaking a glance down into the darkness.
If there wasn't, then there'd be no way to access the library from the other parts of the house, and the door must have something behind it, too.
I don't know, I guess it makes sense.
Is it that worrying that I know?
A little, something just doesn't feel right about it.
Come now, Dave, it's not as if you weren't the one to show me the study connected to the museum, right? Why can't I just also happen to know things?
Before I could get another word in, Roswell made his way into the passage and I followed close behind. Knowing where we were going now, I was curious to see if my assumption was going to be correct. We are going to leave here tonight. We're going to leave off here tonight. Stay safe. Have a good night. And I will see you all tomorrow.